Fire District meetings for the month of April. We'll start out with the approval of the minutes of March 14th. So everybody had a chance to look them over.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Please look over the warrants. We have warrants in the total of $124,725, 62, and 63,49,44, and 68,30,13. Do you have a total on that?
They're right.
Oh, okay. For a total of 165,257.21.
Make a motion that we approve the warrants as presented in the amount of $165,257 and 71.
21.
21, sorry. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Fire Chief?
Just a couple of things. I've been approached by the Highway Patrol to do a little remodeling downstairs and get them a fenced area that they can secure a car in the parking lot. I'm just searching out bids and working with Mr. Christensen and State to see what that'll do to our rent, how much more that'll generate to actually offset the cost. And also,
How much remodeling do they want to do inside the building?
build a room downstairs in the conference room so that they can have an interrogation room. And then just open the door up between the two.
So we're not looking at a big expense.
Part of probably the fenced area is probably going to be the biggest. But I think as small as it is, I think we could count on it. We'll probably just handle it in-house.
How long are the leases for?
Right now, we're just, we signed, I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, for 5 years with the Highway Patrol.
And they have an option to renew at the same rate or?
Well, we actually look at it, each time we renew that, we raised it a certain amount before we can agree on it. And when I started, it was, I think about 36,000. I think today it's somewhere around 53 or 54.
So that's something we could look at if we make some improvements, maybe recoup some of that in the next agreement or something.
Well, if you actually look over the 15 years, they paid us over $750,000.
Yeah. Who do you deal with? DFCM or the Highway Patrol themselves?
Yeah, it's just, well, it's the guy that comes out of Salt Lake.
Is it Division of Facility Management?
Yeah, Christensen, his last name.
For the state? We might want to see what we would offer and see what the would feel is a fair adjustment to rent for them. So
I know we talked a little bit about it. He was going to give it to me, but I haven't seen it yet. That's kind of what I asked him. Present us with something, and then we can go from there. And then we're going to replace the carpet on the upstairs. We got 3 bids on it. Probably going to do some painting before we do that. Tear it out, replace it. It's what, 18 years old, showing some wiring. And we have it in the budget. Other than that, unless you have questions, that's all I have.
any questions for the chief? Fire marshal?
I don't have anything to report unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Clint? Seeing none, Troy, fire warden?
Just that one thing. So we had our yearly fire management meetings with the state last week. Predictive Services came in and gave us kind of an outlook for the fire season. Unfortunately, our meetings were so much earlier this year than they have been in years past. They can only go 3 months. So basically, their outlook was just from April to the end of June. Looks like we're going to be in a warmer, drier trend for the spring. But the models are kind of pointing more towards a wet, cooler July. So what they're saying is we could see more fire activity in the lower elevations with the finer fuels. And as you all know, there's a lot of snow up in the high country. So our potential for big fires this year can be, barring some catastrophic weather event. And that's basically where we're at. So warmer, drier through June, cooler, wetter July. And then tomorrow, I believe I'm on the agenda for the wildland map. So if you guys, I know you're at the fire board tonight, so if you have any questions, I would entertain.
Did we get that language adjusted?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah. I hope.
That's a loaded question. As far as you know.
As far as I knew, last time we talked to everybody was happy, so.
Have you had a chance to talk to the municipalities?
A few of them, yes.
And they're on board with it?
Yes. We've got a couple of MOUs back that Charleston has returned theirs and Midway has returned theirs. As far as participating in the new fire policy, still waiting on everybody else. Had a meeting with Interlochen last night, and they seem to be on board with it as well. It's just a matter of having people sign them and return them.
The one that we really need to be concerned about is independence, because that covers so much of the Forest Service area.
So the way that works, if the fire starts on Forest Service ground, they're going to be responsible for their own fire,
Yeah.
even though
But
they
have a lot of
incorporated.
private ground leading to the forest,
Yes.
which could be the problem.
Yes. So I've been in contact with Mr. Sweat. When I first talked to him, he was great. He was already starting to track some numbers. I just have not been able to get in touch with him to give him that document for them to sign up. I left him several messages. So yeah, everybody has their documents except for independents. And they've all been done.
Anything else,
Thank you.
Troy?
I don't know, Steve, if you want to talk about that litigation paper handed out or not in the executive.
Yeah, I think we should. Is there anything else we need to address? I think we got a letter from Tracy, an email from Tracy on their advisory board.
From the Wasatch Taxpayers Association, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the advisory board, want to know the status of that and how we advertised it. And can you update us on that, Chief?
I was brought aware of it, and it's going to be re-advertised for 2 more weeks. We changed it and put a deadline on it. So.
No, we appreciate that. We're hoping more people will know what the process is and that they need to file their resume, and there's no application really involved. And some of that, I mean, it's just sometimes people don't have a resume handy. And then, you know, we made some recommendations where we're hoping to just work with the county and the fire district so that this is a smooth transition. You know, we want that too. And so,
The only problem I have with that, Tracy, is how do we put your organization and not the other organization? So it's hard to pick and choose who's going to be on that and who's not.
when you say other organizations, like who? Who else is here at these meetings and cares and shows up and gives input? And I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm no different than any other citizen in this county, and I wouldn't presume to say that. But it's also a matter of who's interested, who's educated. And it's not me personally, but somebody from our group, but then another taxpayer at large, or citizens at large, somebody else. I'm not just saying it should be the Taxpayers Association.
Citizens at large, and not try to pick one group to say we got a representative from this group. That way,
Well,
And they may be a member of your.
right.
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that was a suggestion to say, look, we have citizens in our group that are knowledgeable and are active and try to give constructive input at meetings and help the community as a whole go through some of these things. I mean, this is a big deal to consolidate fire districts and to have a tax increase to do so. It's more of getting ahead of it than having to react after we hear what the plan is. That's all it is. And so, however that, I just think that, talking with our group, there were some concerns, not huge concerns, but just when you have a bunch of experts that are in the field of whatever you're talking about, like Parks and Rec, if you only have Parks and Rec people that want to spend money, and you don't have anybody to balance that and to go, well, let's see, is there a way we can compromise so that we're still getting that service, but we're not being charged as much? There should be stakeholders in that advisory board. That's all I think hopefully you got from our letter, was not just a one-sided.
I would agree with that if we can go our citizens at large and not pinpoint any particular group.
So in that public notice then, is it going to say that there are going to be a couple seats on this advisory board for citizens at large? Because the last public notice really asked for experts in fire districts. So, you know what I mean? So a lot of people wouldn't apply because...
Include a couple of citizens. How big a board would you requesting?
7, probably total. And the new advertisement says qualified applicants.
Which, what does that mean?
Well,
I mean...
I think that's very appropriate, because that can be any citizen that whoever's choosing the board deems is qualified. That could just be someone who's interested, shows up. It could be someone who's a fire chief, been a fire chief. It could be someone who's been a state wildfire guy. It could gal. It could be anybody.
Right.
I don't think we want to pinpoint it too much. I really don't. You want to have the qualified people, but the people choosing that board are going to be charged with picking qualified people. I think that's a good place to be.
Tracy, you need to make sure that the people that on your board that are interested apply, all right?
No, yeah, that's not our concern. I mean, yeah, that's...
Process of that.
Exactly. And so, but I guess all I'm saying is, when you say qualified, there are some people that are highly qualified in our community that would go, oh, well, I'm not qualified because I'm not a fire chief, or I'm not. So that's all I'm asking, maybe in the public notice, to just say, look, anyone who, I don't know, some parameters of what you think the qualification should be. Even a good business person that can look at numbers, budgets. There needs to be a 5-year, 10-year plan developed before this public hearing on a tax increase. I mean, so it could be a business executive who knows how to put 5-year, 10-year plans together too. You know what I'm saying? It's not just fire specific. But that's all we were trying to do with our letter, was to go, there needs to be more stakeholders at the table so that, there's citizens that can actually sell this to the public once it comes out and say, look, we were in on all these discussions, we're comfortable with this process and this tax increase to move forward. Those citizens can really help you when it comes time to get that tax increase. So it's really, hopefully, you know, helping the county move forward more smoothly than having, you know, some decisions made where nobody knows what's going on and then it comes out later and then there's a huge tax increase. That doesn't help
I
anybody.
think what we hope this advisory board would help us with the technical aspects of it. And the fire board will still make the final decisions. And yes, we've got to do a better job of informing the public of what we're doing and why we're doing it and have a long-term plan. But I think that's more the fire board's responsibility to do than this advisory board. The advisory board is more of a technical aspect of it. What do we need? What do they recommend we do? The decision is still made by the fire board and the citizens, by public input.
Most definitely, but when you have taxpayers, part of the process is all we're saying, not making technical decisions for the advisory board, but you're opening your doors to the public to go through the process, which just gives everybody else a comfort level that you included the public through this process. That's all it is, really. But, you know, we would just appreciate maybe a response, just saying you got the email too, got it, you know, and just,
This discussion is not adequate for that. This discussion is not adequate for our response back to you.
oh, no, I'm just saying, yes, thank you, we got it. We're gonna discuss it at our next meeting, and you know what I mean, just some sort of response, because you know, who's in charge of responding when you get like a formal letter from some group or something? Is there a process to respond? Not to give us all the answers, but just to say we got it. You know, that would be nice too, in the future.
I can respond back to you on that.
Got it, and we're going to discuss it at our next meeting, and thanks for your input. I mean, you know, we're not, that would be nice. Thanks.
Maybe,
Yeah.
what if you just said, it would be open to two members on this board to be citizens at large?
That's,
Would that work, you think?
What's your thoughts on that, Ernie? You're kind of spearheading it out.
Yeah, I just tell me that as a qualified applicant, I think that services any taxpayer. I mean, I think any taxpayer, as Tracy stated, it could be a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think qualified limits to anybody. I think that opens.
It might be 4 of them. It might be 3 of them. I hate to even say 2 because.
They're all
it might
probably
be-
residents, right? They're all probably
Yeah.
taxpayers.
Yeah, they're all taxpayers and they're all residents at large. So if you're, used to be in the fire business, but you're now just a retired citizen that's a taxpayer, that's a citizen at large. It's also someone who's very knowledgeable in the fire industry, probably. So you may have 7 people who are citizens at large that just happen to be, I know that's a roundabout way, but you're gonna have probably more than 2,
But
would be my hope.
Would you specify that they had to have a background in fire?
This and this
The latest one.
just
doesn't,
says
I thought.
qualified applicant.
Yeah. I think,
Okay.
I think we'll be smart about how we do this. Nobody wants to have the wrong people. Nobody wants this to be anything but completely upfront and transparent and something everybody understands we need.
Well, that,
Everybody.
right. That's all we're trying to work towards.
The applications, we've tried to make it a well-rounded
Absolutely,
advisory.
absolutely. We don't want anybody to be unhappy with what we're doing here. It's all got to be so we all understand.
I mean, I think we can all agree it needs to
I
happen.
feel
It's
like
just,
we agree because we see it all the time. We understand the budgets. We understand what's going to happen. We want that group and everybody to understand what we understand. That's the goal, I think. We want to pick those people that understand that.
yeah. Can I ask what's the new deadline? Do we know that?
20th or 21st.
Okay. Right, I know, but I'm just saying while we're here,
I think it's the 20th or 21st.
okay, thanks. Thanks, I appreciate discussing it. Thank you.
Motion to go into closed